What if I told you that every billionaire you admire paid a price you're not willing to pay? What if the difference between you and them isn't luck, connections, or even talent, but simply what you're willing to sacrifice? Stay with me, because what I'm about to share will either make you uncomfortable or change your life forever. We live in a world obsessed with the results of wealth, but we're terrified of discussing its price. We see the private jets, the penthouses, the freedom, but we turn away from the sleepless nights, the missed birthdays, the relationships that crumble under the weight of ambition. Today, we're going to talk about something most people don't want to hear: why wealth isn't just about working hard or having a good idea. It's about paying prices that most people simply refuse to pay. Let me start with a story. In 1994, a young man named Reed Hastings was charged a $40 late fee for returning a VHS copy of Apollo 13 to Blockbuster. He was embarrassed, frustrated, and that night, he had an idea that would eventually become Netflix. But here's what nobody tells you about that story. Reed didn't just have an idea and become a billionaire. He paid a price. He left his successful first company. He invested his own money. He endured years of people calling him crazy for thinking people would order DVDs by mail. The first price of wealth? Comfort. Most people dream of wealth from their couch, scrolling through social media, looking at successful people and thinking, I could do that. But they're not willing to pay the comfort tax. They're not willing to give up their evening Netflix binges to learn a new skill. They're not willing to skip the weekend parties to work on their business. Wealth demands that you become comfortable with being uncomfortable. It asks you to choose the hard path when the easy path is right there, begging you to take it. The second price is certainty. Society programs us to crave security. Steady paycheck, predictable schedule, guaranteed outcomes. But wealth lives in the realm of uncertainty. Consider Sarah Blakely, who founded Spanx. She spent 2 years developing her product, facing rejection after rejection. She had no guarantee it would work. She couldn't Google how to start $1 billion shapewear company because no one had done it before. She paid the certainty cost. She left her comfortable sales job. She invested her life savings. She worked without knowing if she'd ever see a return. Here's the brutal truth. If you need to know exactly how things will turn out before you start, you'll never build wealth. Wealthy people don't have a crystal ball. They just have a higher tolerance for uncertainty than you do. They've learned to dance with doubt while you're still sitting on the sidelines, waiting for guarantees that will never come. The third price is time, but not in the way you think. Everyone talks about working long hours, but that's not the real cost. The real cost is opportunity time. When Jeff Bezos was building Amazon, he wasn't just working 80-hour weeks. He was choosing to spend those hours on something that might fail instead of doing things that would definitely provide immediate rewards. He was paying the opportunity cost of time. While his friends were climbing corporate ladders, earning steady promotions, building traditional retirement funds, he was building something that existed only in his imagination. This is why most people never build wealth. They're not willing to invest time in something uncertain when they could spend that same time on something that guarantees immediate results. You want to watch TV after work? That's a choice. You want to sleep in on weekends? That's a choice. You want to take the evening off? That's a choice. But understand this. Every wealthy person you admire made the opposite choice, repeatedly, for years, when nobody was watching and nobody was cheering. Here's the price nobody talks about: relationships. Building wealth will test every relationship in your life. Some will survive. Many won't. Your friends will call you obsessed. Your family will question your priorities. Your partner might not understand why you're working when you could be relaxing. Elon Musk has been married 3 times. Steve Jobs famously struggled with work-life balance. These aren't character flaws. They're the natural consequence of choosing an extraordinary path in a world that expects you to be ordinary. This doesn't mean you have to sacrifice all relationships, but it does mean you'll discover who really supports your growth and who just wants you to stay comfortable and small. The people who truly care about you will understand that your temporary sacrifice is for your long-term freedom. The others will try to pull you back to their level. The deepest price is identity. To build wealth, You must kill the person you are today to become the person you need to be tomorrow. When Howard Schultz saw the potential to bring Italian coffee culture to America, he wasn't just starting a business. He was choosing to become someone different. He went from being a comfortable employee to an uncertain entrepreneur. The person who starts the journey isn't the same person who reaches the destination. You'll have to let go of limiting beliefs, old habits, and the story you've been telling yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. This is terrifying because it means the comfortable, predictable you has to die for the wealthy, free you to be born. Most people aren't willing to pay this price. They'd rather stay broke and familiar than wealthy and transformed. Finally, there's the price of criticism. The moment you start pursuing wealth seriously, you become a target. People will question your motives, judge your methods, and celebrate your failures. When Richard Branson started Virgin, people called him reckless. When Oprah started her own network, critics said she was overreaching. When Mark Cuban sold his company for billions, people said he got lucky. Here's what I've learned. The same people who criticize you for trying will criticize you for succeeding. They'll say you're not worthy of your success, that you changed, that you forgot where you came from. The price of wealth includes accepting that some people will never be happy for you, no matter what you achieve. Now, here's the revelation that changes everything. These aren't really prices at all. They're investments. When you give up comfort, you invest in capability. When you embrace uncertainty, you invest in resilience. When you sacrifice time, you invest in freedom. When you risk relationships, you discover your true allies. When you transform your identity, you invest in your potential. The people who never build wealth see these as costs. The people who do build wealth see them as investments. The question isn't whether you'll pay a price for wealth. The question is whether you'll pay it consciously, strategically, and with purpose, or whether you'll pay it anyway through regret, mediocrity, and the slow death of your dreams. Because here's the truth nobody wants to tell you. You're already paying a price. The price of staying where you are. The price of playing it safe. The price of never knowing what you're truly capable of. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep paying the price of ordinary, or are you ready to pay the price of extraordinary? Start today. Choose one area where you've been prioritizing comfort over growth. Maybe it's learning a new skill instead of watching TV. Maybe it's starting that business instead of talking about it. Maybe it's investing in yourself instead of just consuming. The wealthy aren't different from you. They just decided that the temporary pain of growth was worth more than the permanent pain of staying the same. Your wealth is waiting for you on the other side of your willingness to pay the price. The question is, are you ready to pay for it? Remember, the path to wealth isn't about finding shortcuts. It's about paying prices others won't pay, so you can have a life others can't have. The choice is yours. The price is clear. The only question left is,